Hello and welcome to the topic Matter, Substances, Mixtures, and Compounds. In this lesson we're going to learn what are mixtures, substances, and compounds. Specifically what we will talk about is what is the relationship among atoms, elements, and compounds, how are some mixtures different from solutions, and how do mixtures and compounds differ. Before we begin, let's learn some new vocabulary. The first word is matter. Matter is anything that has mass and that takes up space. We also have the atom. The atom is a small particle that is the building block of all matter. Substances are matter with a composition that is always the same. An element is a substance that consists of only one type of atom. A molecule is two or more atoms that are held together by covalent bonds, and they act as a unit. So basically, two or more atoms are joined together chemically. A compound is a substance containing atoms of two or more different elements chemically bonded together. Mixtures is matter that can vary in composition. You also have a term called heterogeneous. Heterogeneous is a mixture in which substances are not evenly mixed. Homogeneous is a mixture in which two or more substances are all evenly mixed together, but they are not bonded together. So let's go ahead and begin your lesson. Now remember that matter is anything that takes up mass or takes up space and has mass. Anything that does not have a mass or volume, we don't consider that matter. All right? And matter has two components, composition and properties. An atom is a small particle that is the building block of this matter. And in many kinds of atoms, the way they combine can form different matter. So scientists place matter into one of two groups. They say either it is a substance or a mixture. A substance is matter with a composition that is always the same. A mixture is matter that can vary in composition. So under substances, you have elements and compounds. Because elements always have the same composition. Compounds can always have the same composition. In mixtures, you have two types. Homogeneous mixture, evenly mixed together, or heterogeneous mixture, not evenly mixed together. So a substance is matter where the composition is always the same. A certain substance always contains the same kind of atoms in the same combination. So this is a certain type of substance. Molecules of an element would be H2, hydrogen, O2, oxygen, N2, nitrogen, chlorine. So molecules of a compound are when you have two of these elements coming together, and they always same type of kinds of atoms in the same combination. Compounds, for example, a nitrogen and oxygen, you have nitrogen oxide. Two hydrogen and oxygen, you have water, H2O. Nitrogen and two oxygen is nitrogen dioxide. Carbon and two oxygen is carbon dioxide. So anytime they come together in that combination, that's what they form. An element is only one type of atom. For example, the element gold is only made up of gold atoms, and all gold atoms are exactly alike. But sodium chloride is also a substance because it's always made of the same, NaCl. That's sodium chloride or salt. Right? So it's always the same two atoms combining to form that substance. So you can have a pure substance like an element, like, gold atoms are always for gold element. And you can have two different atoms coming together, and they form a substance. So elements symbols have either one or two letters. And sometimes they'll come up with three letters, but that's just temporary symbols. So how are atoms and elements related? Well, an element is a substance made of only one type of atom. An element is only one kind of atom. Now, a molecule is two or more atoms that are held together by chemical bonds, and they act as a unit. In some elements, the atoms are grouped into molecules. A compound is a substance made of two or more elements that are chemically joined in a very, very specific combination. Because each compound is made in a specific combination, a compound is also a substance. So this is where it starts to get, an element is a substance. I mean, it starts to get very confusing, but I have a little chart when we're done, just to help you to remember it. So these are molecules of a compound because they're put together in a very specific combination every time. Many compounds exist as molecules, but some don't. Sugar particles are molecules because they travel together as a unit. Salt particles do not travel together as a unit. So how do elements and compounds differ? An element, again, is only made up of one kind of atom. That's an element. But a compound is two or more elements in a specific combination. All right? That's how they're different. Elements, one kind of atom. Compounds, two or more elements or atoms joined in a very specific combination. And this combination is written like a chemical formula. And it has basically the symbols of each of the elements in the compound, and then small numbers to show the ratio of the elements. So, for example, you have here sodium, sulfur, and oxygen. And this little number here denotes that there are 4 oxygen atoms and only 1 sulfur atom. Now, sometimes the same element combines to form different compounds. So let me show you an example here. Here is the molecular structure, right? And you have nitrous oxide, which is N2O, 2 nitrogen and 1 oxygen. And that forms nitrous oxide. Nitrogen dioxide is nitrogen and 2 oxygen. And that's an air pollutant. And then dinitrogen trioxide is 2 nitrogen and 2 oxygen. And that's a blue liquid. So you can see how it's the same elements and same atoms, but combined in specific ways. 2 nitrogen, 1 oxygen, nitrous oxide. 1 nitrogen, 2 oxygen, nitrogen dioxide. 2 nitrogen, 2 oxygen, dinitrogen trioxide. Now we look at mixtures. Mixtures is matter that can vary in composition. It's made up of 2 or more substances that are all blended together, but they're not chemically bonded. And you have the heterogeneous mixture, in which everything is, evenly mixed, not evenly mixed. That's a heterogeneous. Or you have homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous mixtures where everything is evenly mixed together. So heterogeneous, homogeneous. Those are the 2 types of mixtures. A solution is another name for homogeneous mixture. So again, I'm going to show you all these words because I know your brain is probably going, what? Elements, substances, compounds, solutions, mixtures. So a solution is a homogeneous mixture. And it's made of 2 parts. It has a solvent and a solute. So, for example, water and sugar. That makes a sugar solution. So a solution is the name for a homogeneous mixture. The solvent is the substance that is present in the largest amount. And the solute dissolves and breaks apart and makes evenly into the solvent. So the solvent in this one is water, and the solute is sugar. So how are some mixtures different from solutions? Well, a mixture is two or more substances not chemically bonded. And a solution is just another name for a homogeneous mixture with two parts, solvents and solutes. So a mixture is two or more substances not chemically bonded together, and you can have homogeneous mixture or heterogeneous mixture. A solution is just another name for a homogeneous mixture, and it has two parts, solvent and solute. So that's how some mixtures differ from solutions. Compounds and solutions are alike in that they both look like pure substances. So both compounds and solutions look like pure substances. The atoms that make up a given compound are bonded together, which means that the composition is always the same. The substances that make up a mixture, they're not bonded together. So adding one or more substances to a mixture does not change the identity of the mixture. It's still two different substances put together. The substances that make up a mixture are not chemically combined. So that means they can be easily separated by physical processes. Whether it's, you have iron fillings and wave a magnet over them, and that'll separate it. The elements that make up a compound can be separated only by chemical processes. Mixtures can be separated by physical processes. A compound can be separated only by chemical processes. So that's one way that they are different, mixtures and compounds. So let's look at a solution and a compound. Again, a solution is made up of substances evenly mixed, though the composition can vary in a given mixture. The solution is still the same with similar properties. However, the amount of substances may be different, and they keep their own properties when they are mixed together. Compounds are made up of atoms bonded together, and this combination is always the same. Changing the composition of a compound changes it into a new compound. So if you change the composition, it's a whole new compound. The properties are different from the properties of the atoms that make it up. So how do mixtures and compounds differ? The atoms that make up a given compound are bonded together, which means the composition is always the same. In the substance, they are not bonded together. So that's one way they are different. Compounds are bonded together, substances are not bonded together. Now, to separate a heterogeneous mixture, you use differences in the physical properties of the parts. You can separate some homogeneous mixtures by boiling or evaporation. So, for example, if you want to separate sugar from water or salt from water, you simply boil it. And the evaporation will take care of that. Matter can be classified into either a substance or a mixture. And then matter is classified according to the types of atoms and the arrangement of these atoms. So remember, we go from matter to mixtures or to substances. Mixtures have different composition. Pure substances have constant composition. Mixtures, various or different compositions. Pure substances, constant compositions. So matter, mixtures, or pure substances. Mixtures can be heterogeneous or homogeneous. Pure substances can be elements or compounds. So again, let's kind of run through this because that was a lot of words going on there. Matter is anything, let me go ahead and get my highlighter ready for you. Matter is anything that takes up space, and there are two types of matter. There are substances and there are mixtures. A substance is made up of one or two more types of atoms in some sort of combination. And the two types of substance are elements, only one type of atom, or compounds, two or more types of atoms bonded together. Compounds have chemical formulas, and the properties are different from the elements once you combine these two or more atoms. Mixtures are made up of two or more substances, and they are not bonded together. The combination of the substance may vary, and you have two types, heterogeneous and homogeneous. Heterogeneous is unevenly mixed, homogeneous is evenly mixed. And in heterogeneous, sometimes the differences, the substances are visible by the unaided eye or microscope, and in homogeneous, it cannot be seen even by a microscope. So even when you look at different homogeneous substances, they are so evenly mixed, put together, you can't see the difference. So remember, in summary, that an element is only one type of atom. A substance is a mixture that is blended but not chemically bonded. A mixture is blended but not chemically bonded, and homogeneous mixtures have the same makeup of substances throughout a sample. So that concludes your lesson on what are mixtures, substances, and compounds. And we hope you enjoyed the lesson, and thank you very much.